I was traveling to Europe recently, and I got stuck because of a flight delay at Dubai airport for half a day, and I wasn't really looking forward to that. Waiting so long, 6 hours in overcrowded spaces, it was quite miserable. But then, as I was sitting at my Burger King table, a stranger joined me, as we do, and we struck a conversation. He ended up being an Aussie going home for Christmas. And we ended up talking about travel and geography. I know, for example, that he didn't buy a gift for his 2-year-old goddaughter. He knew what I got my father for his birthday. And by the time he went to catch his flight, we built this instant familiarity that some of these random encounters bring. And then an hour later, I started talking to a German woman. She asked me to look after her bags. Some people still do that at the airport. And we just started talking. She was coming back from 4 weeks in India, and we talked about the importance of travel and broadening your mindset. We talked about our families, Christmas traditions, and we had a great time just sharing our stories. And this whole forced stopover wasn't that bad anymore. Which made me think about this whole concept of meeting strangers, connecting in an instant, and moving on. It reminds me of a Russian old saying called "попутчик," which literally means a stranger you share your journey with. Because Russia is a very big country, and we spend a lot of time traveling by train. And when you do, you share your very small personal space with other strangers. And because you share small private spaces, you kind of by default start sharing your personal stories as well. And you often end up having profound conversations about life and tell your stories because you know that person is going to get off, never to be seen again at some faraway stop and take your secrets with them. My German попутчик, for example, she... I didn't even know her name, but she told me about her family. I told her about mine. And I started thinking that it's not, just the mysterious Russian soul. I think it's something about travel that opens people up and makes us more prone to sharing. For example, I talked to my German friend why I can't go live in Russia anymore. She told me about regretting not traveling more in her youth and really had a great connection. And I think both of us left the table richer. And I think overall we share a lot more nowadays through socials, through all the different channels, and we share in real time. And I think that's actually good because when you share something personal, you encourage people to open up in return, and that brings both of you closer. And I think it's almost like we're accelerating relationships in our time-poor but globally connected world. And think of blogging, for example. Someone might be discussing online their personal stories or issues they're dealing with. And suddenly there is this whole community of people around them who are connecting because they're in the same story. My favorite example of this is a blog called Dear Sugar, which is by the author of a book Wild, on which the recent movie is based. So she became famous by writing an advice column, but it was actually based on her own very personal and often difficult experiences. But she opened up and built a very passionate community and now she has a Hollywood blockbuster movie to her name. And this whole concept of sharing with other strangers, with people, I realized it's good on my own example. I used to be very reserved in sharing my personal stories with people unless they were my friends. But recently, after doing a lot of travel, I realized that it's actually turned on its head. I started making friends by being more open. And I'm now several relationships richer, and it turned out to be really good. And I think travel is a really great place to start for that, because sometimes all you need to do is listen. It never stops fascinating me how many different stories we all have and how much we can learn from each other if you only listen without judgment. And when you travel, you're in that space of mind because you don't really have a hidden agenda. You just have some time to spare, and you're more curious and you're more open to all the different experiences that people can have and different points of view. And I think we spend a lot of our time sharing actually overall in life, literally and metaphorically. And the more we share, I think, the more we get in return. It's almost like a picnic, you bring different things, people bring different things, and you might end up trying something you have never tried or thought of before. So today, I wanted to leave you with one thought, one task for the coming up break. Talk to strangers. Next time you meet someone you don't know, open up more than usual and see what happens, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana Zhukova. Why don't we do that? Why don't you guys turn around and talk to someone you've never spoken to before? Say hello. Just introduce yourself to someone you've never spoken to.